Hey, what's up, guys? Christian here. It's been a while. Haven't made a video in a little bit, but I'm back, uh, and I got a new camera, and I'm excited to be bringing you guys some new stuff. Um, so I wanted to make a little video on how I use Sonarworks with Luna, and how to set that up so that when you're monitoring through Sonarworks reference, using your calibration, whether you're calibrating your headphones or you're calibrating your speakers, how you can set it up in Luna so you can have your calibration set up for your headphones and your speakers, if you're calibrating both, all in one session, and have it so that you don't have to switch back and forth in the profile inside of SonarWorks, and you also don't have to switch back and forth between enabling and disabling it when you're doing your mix down. You can just go ahead and mix down, and you can not have to worry about accidentally leaving SonarWorks enabled, which I've done a number of times, and it's been really frustrating realizing that I've rendered something with the calibration on, and yeah, that obviously going to affect your mix quite a bit. So anyways, this is how I do it, and there at the end, you can go down below, and you'll see a template down there. But before you go down there and grab that template, make sure as you're scrolling down, you hit the like button and you hit subscribe. That way you get all of my other cool videos coming up in the future. Okay, and but yeah, so I'm going to put a link to the template down there. So I'm going to show you how I have it set up. You should probably watch it so you know how it works. Because if you just download the template, it might be not so straightforward at first. So just maybe check this out, and I'll show you exactly how it works, okay? And once you get the template, you can just start new sessions with this template, or you can incorporate this routing into your own template. That way you don't have to mess with SonarWorks setting it up every time. Okay, so let's go over here and check this out. So here we go. Let's just hide these windows real quick. All right, so let's see. So you'll see here I have the API console loaded up in here. So this is just a track that a mix that I'm working on, and you'll see I've got a number of tracks here. And the first thing you want to do when you're setting this up is you want to route all of your tracks, because by default all of your tracks are going to be routed to the main, which is right here, right? That's the main output. And when you are doing your mix down, it's the main option. See right here up at the top here, that's the main, right? So that's the default. When you're mixing down, what Luna's doing is basically exporting everything that's routing from your tracks to this main mix bus, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up an alternate mix bus, and we're gonna route all of our tracks to it. So what you're gonna do, or what I've done is, so I'm gonna take all these tracks right here, and I'm gonna highlight all of them, and I'm going to go down to the output, right? And you'll see I have them all routed to a bus called router. Now this is an additional thing that I added on top that you don't necessarily really need. You don't need this for SonarWorks. I created this router as a way to quickly A/B between, if I have a bunch of plugins on my mix bus, this is a quick way to A/B completely dry and all the effects that you have. So like if you're doing a mastering session, for example, you can quickly just A/B everything that you have on your mix bus, and then compare that to a totally dry signal. For this purpose, I have it routed to router. Just pretend it's routed to this mix bus instead, okay? Because what I'm really doing right now is I'm routing all these tracks to the router, and then I'm routing the router to the mix bus. Okay, and then this is the important part. I have the mix bus routed, the output going to speakers, headphones, and main. So I have 3 different outputs going from my mix bus. So all my tracks are basically going to my mix bus, and then I'm putting all of my master effects on my mix bus if I have any. And then that final signal is going to go to the speakers, it's going to go to the headphones, and it's going to go to the main. Okay? Now, for the speakers here, I have I've set up a Q mix, so Q number 2, right? So what you do is you basically just want to turn this up. So I have that turned up to 0. You want to send this signal out to Q number 2 at 0 dB. Okay, so it's going to send basically everything from the mix bus out to Q2 the same level. So then if I go into, and you'll see, so my speakers, so this speakers track on the inserts, I have Sonarworks loaded up, and I have it set to my speaker calibration profile here, Paradise Sound 2021 February. Okay, so, and then what I do is that Q number 2, what I'll do is when I'm monitoring, I'll have, see where it says source here in the control room in Luna. Here in the control room in Luna, I don't want it set to monitor. If I have it set to monitor, it's going to play through my speakers the main, and I don't want the main right now because I want it to be calibrated. I want to send the speakers, so I'll set this to Q2. So if I play that, I'm going to hear through Q2, I'm going to hear the speaker calibrated version coming out of my speakers. And if I throw my headphones on, I have the headphones going out to Q number 1. So you see my Q outputs. And so you'll see here what I want to do is for the headphones, I'm going to want to have my Q number 2 set to my Apollo Twin. I can have it set to either of these headphone outputs. Okay, so that way, when I'm playing the song, the audio that's going to be coming out of this track is going to have this Audio-Technica ATH-M50X average calibration profile. It's going to have it coming out of that channel and going into the Apollo Twin output, headphone output. That way, I can I can switch back and forth between monitoring through speakers or monitoring through headphones, and I don't have to change anything inside of the Sonarworks because it's already set. I have my profile set. So I have my headphone profile set up right there, and I have my speaker profile set up there, and I have my Q outputs set up in a way to where the Q number 2 is going to the speakers, and Q number 1 is going to the headphone output. Okay, and if you're really not familiar with how to set up Q outputs, you can check out my UAD Luna class on Udemy. There is a chapter in there on Q outputs that shows you how to do it really easy and straightforward. Or I think there's probably a Luna Basics video, or check the Luna After Hours, whatever your preference is. But anyways, I'll have to admit, setting up the Q outputs, sometimes it's confusing. This whole section here, and I don't really have any advice on how they can make it easier. It's kind of confusing because you're routing audio to different locations, and that just by itself, by default, is kind of confusing. But once you get the hang out of it, once you start, setting up Q outputs and stuff, it's really, you start to understand it. It's not so hard, and it becomes second nature. So anyways, once you have my template downloaded, you're not going to have to worry too much about that, because you're going to have basically these buses set up already. You're going to have a mix bus where you're going to just send all of it. When you import your tracks into this template, you're going to assign the outputs, all of the outputs, to this mix bus. Okay. This mix bus is already going to be assigned out to the speakers, headphones, and main. Okay. All you got to do is, for the speakers here, you're just going to assign a Q output to your speakers. Okay. And you're going to do that in here. Okay. And then for the headphones, you're just going to assign that other Q, which I have Q1 going out to my Apollo Twin. But if you have a rack mount X6 or X8, you'll just send that Q to the headphone output. Okay. And then when you do a mixdown, you don't have to disable Sonarworks at all, because the main is clean. There's no effects on it at all. And it's just going to export the main without any of that calibration on it. It's going to be perfect. And there you have it. So I hope that wasn't too confusing for you. And I hope this template works for you. And if you have any questions, just put them in a message down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. Happy music making. Talk to you soon. Aloha.